It's 7:56 p.m. on a Sunday, March 15th, and I'm getting ready to tell my mom and my dad that I don't want to leave the country this summer. Just a little bit of context before I go to that living room and break the news. Last year in 2025, we didn't go because my mom was thinking, what if my daughter gets a summer job, then what? So she was going back and forth, she never booked the flights. Though she never failed to mention my jobless situation, anybody asked us if we were going to Honduras for the year. That reason I just mentioned. At that point, I had already been unemployed for a little over a year after finishing my tech program in May 2024. You see, like I mentioned before, they see these growth opportunities and adult things as an inconvenience for them, not as something normal that they can simply not describe as something negative. Don't think that they were saying this in a we care and we're worried and we really want our daughter to find a job type of way, especially because you do not have to give a reason as to why you're not traveling for the summer and pin it on your kid. They were saying it in a she's stopping us from doing what we really want to do and this is such a delay type of way. When I tell them in a couple of minutes the topic/option of doing any trips nationally, which when I say nationally, I mean within the tri-state. When I tell them in a couple of minutes, the topic/option of doing trips nationally, and when I say nationally, I mean within the tri-state, is most likely going to come up. My guy, I don't want to do those either. But I'll probably just say whatever. I'm probably going to say maybe, knowing very well at the back of my mind that if I end up doing that and whatever happens, I would just study as much as possible on those trips. I need to tell you guys this whole situation about trips. I meant to talk about it on my podcast. I still haven't recorded that, but there's going to be a video about why I hate family trips internationally and nationally where I go in depth. You guys have no idea what it's like to be trapped with your family for even just 2 nights with pure discomfort. Either way, this conversation should last a couple of days, which means that it's going to be worse and worse and give me more anxiety because low-key, I would have to wait a couple of days for a resolution, but let's see how it goes. It's 6:58. I'll be back. It is now April 2nd, and let me tell you, it took me more than just a couple of minutes to muster up that courage to go talk to them. I ended up talking to them several hours later, about 9, 10, 11 p.m. Anyways, it's April 2nd, and let me give you an update on what has happened since that first part of the video, which was filmed on March 15th. So, I didn't tell them until the day later. Okay, on March 16th, I told my dad first. I could not stop smiling and laughing the whole time. I don't even have that type of anxiety response, but for some reason that was happening the whole time. He calmly told me that it's important to do this trip, especially as a family. The same day, an hour later or less, because oh my god, I had to muster up so much courage. I told my mom. She sucked her teeth, mad, told me to leave the living room because I was getting her super mad and annoyed, and told me to stop saying dumb things. What's wrong with me? And that night, my thoughts were, there's no way out. I'm feeling resistance. That brought me back, me feeling 16 years old. I'm tired of things being the same no matter how much time passes by, how old I get. I'm so tired of the redundance. And I was super duper shocked. So the end of March, around the 24th, I don't remember exactly what day, and then also Sunday, March 29th, I supplemented my pitch, and I hate that I even need a pitch or that I need to supplement it, by saying that I got accepted into SYEP. I broke that news to them for the first time. And their response was, we're traveling during that time. Why would you do that? Come on, the summer's for relaxing. Take a break. You just started working and now you think you're this big thing, this big woman? And I thought to myself, am I going to have to scratch all my alternative plans because of this control that's being exercised right now? All of the same reactions, the lack of support type of words, the objections to things that I've wanted, including things that are going to help me grow and transition into adulthood. All the same things since I was a young teenager. Let me tell you, it's awful being 20 years old and constantly emotionally regressing to when you were 14, 15, 16. I'm so tired of the redundance, the same thing every year for the same things at the same time of the year. Spring is the same thing, summer's the same thing, winter's the same thing, fall is the same thing every year. On March 29th, my mom actually brought up the job thing again, and as usual was watering down the experience that offered to something that was tiny, unnecessary. What's the point of it? Are you really gonna give up a trip with your family just to get a little bit of money? You see, they demonize a lot of normal things, and that's something that has made certain things like expressing myself super difficult as a child, super difficult as a teenager, because they consider so many normal things and things about growth, things about girlhood as selfish, as self-absorbed, as why do you need that, unnecessary. It's April 2nd, and between when I filmed the start of this video, March 15th, and March 30th, I've been compiling names, information, and contacts to put me in touch with temporary living options for young adults. Because it's clear that I can't stay with anybody I know, because everybody I know, my parents know. And who's gonna support keeping someone's daughter in their home against their parents' will, doesn't matter her age. Even if, of course, my parents would sweet talk them into giving me up, even if those people promised to support me. So as soon as I heard that the flights were booked, I was gonna start calling all those places. Well, yesterday, April 1st, I called a lot of places, unfortunately right after 5 p.m., so I have to call back today to see if anything is available for those. And I did leave messages just in case for most of them. There were 2 that responded, one of which I made a file with, but I would need to call closer to the date that I want to move into because they place you in 24 to 48 hours. It's very immediate placement. And the other, which I needed to contact a different phone number within the same organization because I'll turn 21 during the time that I want to stay, and they intake 20 years old and under for regular assistance. So the airplane tickets are for mid-August to early September. I'll admit that once I heard the August date, I did think about the leeway that I could get for working because SYEP starts July 7th and finishes August 25th. I thought about the possibility of not doing the last week and just making things not confrontational, not uncomfortable, and just going with them. But the issues still stand. I hate it there. I want to be here and do things here. It's been 4 years since I haven't wanted to go and have been forced to go. I can legally say no. They're controlling me, and saying yes to them will only further it. I don't like being on trips with them. I want to use this opportunity to work and grow. If I miss out on this summer, it severely delays me and sets me back from my goal to not live here by January 2027. So all of those things still stand, and I would just be letting another opportunity to control me pass by, and I won't be standing for anything. I'm taking it upon myself to start working wherever I'm placed July 7th. Depending on the best temporary housing option I get, the plan is to get placement 1 or 2 days before they leave to 1 to 2 days after they come back. However, if I see severe pushback and control, even when I just want to work, even when I start working July 7th, the month before, I would get housing assistance earlier because of that. Like I mentioned in my previous video, not only are my parents controlling with international trips, but I've never had a choice not to go to trips out of state either. And there are definitely going to be times when they want to go to Prospect Park, boring as usual. Maybe some other park like Highland, boring as usual. So I'm definitely anticipating them trying to stop me during the first week of July and or making me miss days with these little planned trips. So let's see how it goes.